good. How about yourself?
It's been a long time since you and I have hung out on the Zoom.
All right, we've got everyone. I know unfortunately, we're missing Brandon's partner in Shine normally, Zach, who had to escape a lockdown in Australia. So he is fleeing.
Escaping the lockdown. Guys, amazing to see you, Brandon. What's happening? Where are you?
Queensland, brother. The New Earth Hub.
Nice, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Michelle, where are you? You're obviously in Bali. Which villa are you? Where are you staying? Is it?
I'm in my villa, babe. Come home and see it.
Yeah.
Your own villa. Okay. I'm sorry. Looking good, looking beautiful as always. Good to see you. And there's legendary Ken Close, Superman.
Hey guys.
Killing us, always in the gym.
Yeah.
We had a great tour with Ken Close and also Doc Steve, the legend himself.
Frequency legend.
Frequency legend, the most valuable guy in the frequency space, I would say, because you are the guy we need to ask every single question we don't understand. We need to use you. Yeah, that's happening.
Okay.
Cool, guys. Awesome. Hey, I'm so happy we found together here today and tonight and speak about performance-enhancing drugs.
Performance-enhancing frequencies.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's why we invited you, because you know better than I do.
Can we introduce people? I know you've done a very quick introduction, but let's go around here. Let's do Brandon. Now, I absolutely love this guy. He's so incredible, such amazing energy. Guys, this is someone to watch in this space. I know he trains with Tony Robbins. He's got such an amazing heart. Has this whole biohacking house, well, you used to back in Sydney, and then in the Gold Coast, right, where they did all kinds of cool things like broth nights and ice baths and your glasses. You're normally wearing your biohacking blue light glasses, right? Normally. Just such an awesome young leader that we have, really representing the incredible new talent that we have in Healy. So welcome, Brandon. Awesome to have you here. Then to the side of me, not this one in the pink shirt, but this one over here.
I don't know if they see the same thing.
Okay, well, maybe they're not, but where I'm looking, we see Ken Close. And this is our very own Superman. I mean, this guy is biohacking aging like you cannot believe. He literally took Max and another guy to the gym and absolutely whooped them in the gym. I think he might be nearly close to twice Max's age, right? No, not quite, but nearly. Nearly.
Yes.
And absolutely whipped him. He's super fit, and that's why we call him Superman, because he really uses frequencies to do that. Then we go, where will I go? Michelle, like this beautiful goddess that I get to hang out with when I'm in Bali. She floats between America, London, and Bali, living an amazing life. She is a lecturer in Oxford University, a Chinese medicine doctor, an absolute badass when it comes to taking your health and health to a whole nother level. This is Michelle Patrick, sometimes Michelle Adams. I'm not sure which one are we.
Michelle Adams Patrick.
Whatever the field requires today.
Awesome. And then, of course, we have the legend himself, Doc Steve, who is, well, just a legend in frequencies, treats some of the most influential and celebrities in LA with frequency therapy, has been in frequency therapy for over 20 years, is our go-to guy when we're asking about frequencies. And I know he gets sent so many devices for people to look at and trial and train. And guys, he chose Healy, and that, I can tell you, means a lot. So welcome, guys. Look at the kind of people.
And I'm probably twice Max's age.
No.
Almost, right?
Yes,
you are.
Yes,
you are.
How old are you, Max?
I'm 34.
How old are you, Max?
I'm 34.
Well, I am I'm over twice your age.
Wow.
I will be 70 at my next birthday, and I use Healy to stay young.
Yeah.
And this is what we can talk about in a second, because I know you know a lot about the new frequencies, the stem cell frequencies. That's going to be one topic for tonight, guys. So yes, pure anti-aging with the most, these are future. This is the future of health and well-being, is stem cells and frequencies, and we combine them now in one device.
Absolutely.
This is what we're going to talk about.
Absolutely incredible. Well, you know what? I mean, when we think of biohacking, and biohacking is really how we take ourselves to a whole nother level, how we hack our biology to increase our energy, performance, our health, our whatever aspect of our human existence in terms of our biology. And so on here tonight, we have incredible experts in that space. And I would really love to throw out anti-aging out there, because I think that is ultimately the ultimate biohack, right? Is how do we really slow down the aging process?
I agree.
So let's throw it to you, Doc Steve, and talk about some of the frequencies that we have in Healy and how we can really use them, I guess, really for that anti-aging space.
Well, for me, there are two components of Healy that really sets itself up as being what I call the ultimate anti-aging device. And the first would be, which is the foundation of Healy, which is the microcurrent treatments, which work with the cell membrane potential of the body. And we have a cell membrane potential around all of our cells. And ideally, we'd love to see it as close to negative 70 millivolts as possible, because that is the level of a young, healthy cell. And over time, as we get exposed to stress and we get inflamed and all other things start to get involved in our environment, toxicity, etc., that cell membrane potential voltage starts to drop lower and lower and lower over time as we age. And we can, on a daily basis, return that cell membrane potential back up to that negative 70 millivolts. So to me, it's, we're always able to regenerate the cells and organs of our body on a daily basis. And we all know that every 7 years we virtually create a new body, because none of the cells that are in our body now would be present 7 years from now. And of course, different organs change at different rates, but ultimately every 7 years we do recreate our body. So once we work in a system like microcurrent, like Healy, where we can regenerate young, healthy cells, and then you combine it with a program that allows us, the bioenergetic regeneration program, which gives us the specific frequencies of the various stem cells. And it's like a 1-2 punch in terms of ideal and ultimate anti-aging. So I do both of those on a daily basis, and I will continue to do those probably for the rest of my life. And I really look at that as the way to naturally create anti-aging, because we all know people that spend tens of thousands of dollars and travel to Switzerland and South America to get stem cell injections, and only to have to return a year later to continue to get more stem cell injections. And we have that literally at our fingertips when we own a Healy. So
well, Steve, can you quickly explain for everybody who doesn't really know, what are stem cells doing in the body and what are they for?
Well, they're the primordial cells that regenerate all of our organs, and they go to various places. There's undifferentiated stem cells that allow us to heal. So besides anti-aging, the other benefit of utilizing stem cells is the fact that they regenerate and they heal. So if you have any kind of injury or athletic injury, stem cells will help you heal a lot quicker. And they really are what creates all our organs in our bodies.
Awesome. And Doc, just for everyone, because they're asking in there, which frequencies are the ones that have the stem cell frequencies?
It's a program. It's a new program. I guess it's about 3 months old. It's in the subscription set of the programs. It's called Bioenergetic Revitalization. And in that program set itself are all the specific organs and cells. And again, you can scan it to see which ones your body actually needs, or you can select it based on your own personal choice. But in that whole complete set of those programs, you have everything you need to regenerate all the cells and organs of your body right there.
Awesome. Amazing. Thank you so much. Now,
so
Michelle.
I think it's, one of the most unbelievable devices out there, and especially for the amount of money that it costs. I mean, you can't match it with, like I said, people spend tens of thousands of dollars traveling to get stem cell injections, and it's one of those things that it's not permanent, so you have to repeat it over time. Whereas we have the ability on a daily basis to pick and choose, and deliver those frequencies into our body. And again, the combination of those specific frequencies combined with the ability for us to raise the microcurrent on a daily basis. You know, our bodies are like flashlights, and as the time goes on, when you're using a flashlight, the light starts getting dimmer and dimmer until it goes out. Well, we need to recharge our own batteries on a daily basis, and the best way to do it is by you know, sending yourself microcurrent and recharging all the cells, and then of course creating even more energy in your system, because we have found through experiments that we can increase our ATP levels by 500% using the Healy on a regular basis. So instead of running to Starbucks or using those 5-hour energy drinks, just hook yourself up to the Healy and naturally recharge your batteries.
I mean, this is really something we need to keep it digesting in your mind, what's happening right now. I mean, stem cell is like the most, you know, famous way of now preventing aging. You know, it's really what, again, you said it, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. I know personal people, they spend over $100,000 on stem cells. And now we have the ability, you know, with our frequency device, which is ridiculous because we can't put a price tag on health and feeling good, you know, and then it sends us the frequencies, the same digital fingerprints like the stem cells, what people inject themselves for so much money. And again, what we've been talking about it all the time, right? We need to go away from this idea that we need to survive, but we need to come to the place where we want to thrive. Because right now, we saw it over the road trip, a lot of people with pains, aches, and issues coming and use Healy. Beautiful. Don't get me wrong. This is a beautiful, beautiful thing to do because you can really improve and support yourself on any area in your life. But what about doing the same thing and think in terms of anti-aging? Prevent aging, prevent things from happening before they're happening. Why do we need to wait for something to happen in order for us to be to do something that's supporting us? We want to prevent those things. We want to put us back into balance. We want to go back into balance in order to clear out all the stuff what can harm us. Right? And if we're in balance and if we thrive and if we flow on a high frequency, then all these things are not happening to us. We slow down in the process of, you know, we say aging, you know, which now we can prevent it. So it's the idea of prevention. It's the idea of helping each other or supporting each other themselves before it's actually happening.
Absolutely. And, you know, I've been impressed now. In 1 week from now, I will be celebrating my 45th year in practice. And I started out in the 70s in the space of preventive medicine. I was one of the few that foresaw that this was really the way to go. I had my initial training, and the school I went to was very prevention focused, one of the few in the country. And so to me, I've always said to patients that it's a lot easier to prevent a disease from occurring than to treat that same disease after it's already in process. So to me, prevention is the ultimate anti-aging, along with using the techniques that we have available to us with the Healy device. Because, you know, the body can't distinguish between frequencies or substance, so it doesn't know the difference. So when you're sending the frequencies of a substance, the body accepts it as if you were giving substance itself. So that's why frequencies are so powerful.
Yeah, that's amazing. So 45 years of practice, Doc Steve's hot tip, use the microcurrent and use bioenergetic revitalization. Use the microcurrent, bioenergetic revitalization. That's Doc Tip's hot tip in Doc Steve, hot tip in
Marcus Schmeke, who is our inventor and our quantum physicist, did a 2-hour lecture today, which was brilliant, by the way, on the whole process of quantum physics in the body. And he even said that, you know, it's important to always include microcurrent programs on a regular basis. He actually said run at least one a day. I totally agree with him, because you never want to forget that it's not just the frequencies themselves, but it's the microcurrent that really can change the energetics of the body. And so that combination, again, of the microcurrent and, for example, the bioenergetic revitalization program is something that I do every single day.
Awesome. Amazing. All right. Thanks, Doc. Michelle, Now, I know you are also a goddess and genius in anti-aging and how you really hack the body and all the different energetics that you do. Tell us some of your, I guess, hot tips in terms of anti-aging and how you've really incorporated frequencies and Healy into, I guess, biohacking some of yourself and your clients, because I know you have some incredible clients as well.
Yes, indeed. And thank you very much, Taryn. So the way I kind of implement frequency, I'm actually running a energetic revitalization program at the moment. It's my go-to for all things. However, I work a lot with the underlying foundations of the things that manifest problems or issues around aging, you know, so a lot of the organs, the foundational organs, predominantly the kidneys, is really important to me, because from the perspective of my medicine and my practice, the kidneys have a lot to do with our original chi, and they're also the organ that we deplete the most every day, from chronic work to chronic exercise to chronic patterns, you know, that disallow us from rather than nourishing or adding or expanding into our energetic capacity, depleting it through our day-to-day life cycles and just normal processes of being human. So I work a lot with the foundational kind of program. So kidneys is really, really important to me. It kind of ascertains and nourishes, you know, and adds to our available, readily chi availability in the moment, rather than depleting what we don't have currently. And also the cell protection program is awesome. Just going into, you know, the cells, just like Doc was just saying, and how we're in a continuous flux of expansion and contraction as far as cells are concerned, depending on our lifestyle choices. And often, you know, we can't change some of our external environments, but we do always have the ability to change our internal environment. So cell protection is really vital for me. And just going back to the stem cell kind of conversation, and bone marrow, you know, has so much to do with stem cells, and bone marrow from a TCM perspective, it has a lot to do with the kidneys as well. So just for me, my most two important programs for anti-aging are the kidneys and the cell protection, just because of the opportunity to stop things or nourish or add to things before we start to reach depletion.
Yeah, amazing. You know, I remember when I visited Marcus in the castle and sat down, had a chat with him, and I said to him, of all the programs, what's your most favorite program? And he was like, you know, if I couldn't run any other program, I would just run the kidney. I truly believe they are the battery of all human life. And so he was like, you know, run the kidney, either the female kidney or the male kidney or the kidney in the meridians. He's like, that's what I would be running, because I really believe they're undervalued. And they need to really have a lot more value on them. So it's awesome that you're totally in alignment with what Marcus had said. Yeah, awesome.
I am in alignment with what Michelle says also, because to me, you know, using like kidney yang tonics for men is just a real key. And I use a lot of Chinese herbs in my practice also, and that is definitely a focus. So I absolutely agree with you, Michelle.
Yeah,
yes.
awesome.
More
awesome.
people.
Yeah, go the kidneys. Go kidneys. Team kidney.
kidney. All right, guys. No, that's super
also,
valuable.
from kidneys to kid, you're not really a kid.
No.
From kidney to Sydney.
To Queensland.
No, he's not there either. Anyway.
Oh,
well, yeah, we just suck at that. Brandon, let's just talk to you. Now, you're obviously young and fit, and I don't know. I mean, do you even think about anti-aging, I guess, in that space? But how are you really using Healy? I mean, you're obviously young, right? So you might not necessarily be thinking of anti-aging, but you're really thinking of prevention of getting there and how to really take your life to a whole nother level. How are you really using Healy, or especially in your community? I know you've got a lot of really young, conscious biohacking people in your community. How are you using Healy?
Thanks for, kidney to Sydney. Yeah, I like that one better than from kidney to kid. That's a better one. But thank you for emphasizing that. I definitely, it's funny, we're having this conversation right now. Recently, I was just on a call with a futurist whereby she focuses on positive futures. And it occurred to me how incredible the human mind actually is and the human body is. We, as a statistic, when we focus on a positive future, we live between 5 to 30 years older. So to put this in perspective right now, what we have in our hands at the moment, when you buy a Healy, what you buy as a byproduct is not just this incredible device which comes with all the frequencies and all the rest, but it comes with this incredible community that's positive focus on a future that we want to create, rather than the one that is dissipating right now, where we can all agree there is a huge emphasis on the latter. There's a fear-based agenda that's been programmed into our very subconscious, our society, that a lot of people don't actually have this high vibrational state of being to have access to. So I feel like I feel like I'm a little bit more qualified in this sense, because all my life I've been focusing on the future, a future that is worth focusing on. And when I communicate to Healy, I communicate in the sense and how I use Healy to bring people together is the situation at hand. Ultimately, we can all agree, in a world that we're being tipped into lockdown, it is more imperative right now to unlock our full potential, to evolve as a human species. And to gift someone that ultimately is probably the most anti-aging thing on the planet, is connection, is something from the heart. And we were talking about organs. I want to hone in on the heart organ, is when you bring connection, heart-based, like love, into the space in a world that's rid with fear, what that will do on the long term, the longevity of what we're all co-creating together. Like, this is what really inspires me, because I've come from those environments. I've wanted to bring love to environments that there was a lot of darkness, and I tried to do that alone. And I thought that when I was doing that, I was the odd one out. I was the one that was crazy to think that you could think of something so positive. Like, hands up if, and I'm seeing a couple of people who've got their videos on, but hands up, like, you've been labeled the crazy one for thinking so positive. Like, how could you be so irrational, right? Again, especially like, you know, like you embody the energy that I have. And that's the beauty of this, is like, age is just a number. It's your embodiment of that. And so rewiring this back to the conversation at hand is bringing people together is the most underrated experience. And I like to say that Healy's just a front. Really, it's just a really good excuse to come together and hang out with people who vibrate at the same resonance. Like, we're in the business of resonance right now. We resonate. And to expand that out into the future, like, not to go deep into the quantum mechanics and quantum physics of everything, but enough people that believe in a certain narrative, that becomes a reality. And I feel like right now, where we are as a human species, there's parallel universes living side by side. One, ultimately, that's chunked up in people who live in fear, and the other one that is operating from the space of love. Like, you can feel the love when people are expressing about this device. It is so heart-centered. And I think this is more needed than ever before, not just in the health and wellness space, the network marketing space. There's been a lot of this and not enough this. And when we're bringing that to people, we are ultimately bringing the gift of connection, love, acceptance, humility, because we've become so disconnected from our roots. Typically, when we started out, the passing of knowledge and the passing of anything was from common unity, the campfire effect. What's really cool about this technological age is we can have this and host this campfire effect where we can pass down the knowledge. And I love that we have this variance of, you know, demographics, so to speak, and age. We have lost touch with our elders. So I just want to honor, you know, the elders on this call for sharing this information as if we were back in common unity together, because this is all about, like, when we start to realize that I am you and you are me, that there's no separation at all whatsoever, what we start to realize is this is what it's really about. And then it just so happens that this incredible device also has this huge, tremendous upside of the frequencies as well, and the science behind it. But I want to hone in on that, is the heart space connection that we get as a byproduct of this.
Which is
Brandon,
beautiful.
we have like the best program for that. That, as a matter of fact, Marcus talked about it again today. He brought forward what he calls the coherence program, which is a specific program that is used to connect the mind and the heart, open up that channel, and using it with our new Healy coil, which is a scalar adaptive device that adds to the Healy. It's just the ultimate connection to not only our own selves, but also to everybody else out there. And as many of you know, we do run regularly on a weekly basis. We get together as a group and we run the coherence program to the planet to be able to share that frequency of the heart and the frequency of loving to everyone. So thanks, Brandon, for that.
Yeah, that's beautiful, because ultimately, what is a better anti-aging frequency than love and bringing everyone together? I mean, that's the goal that people sometimes totally miss out. That is the hack, guys. That is the biohack.
It's so amazing. I remember, Brandon, when did we have the last biohack call? It's like a year ago. And we jumped on the call, and it was like the same thing. Like, yeah, how do you get to the edge? How do you physically get stronger, mentally sharper, emotionally more clear? And everything ended in enhancing the connections we have, the love, the relationships. And this is ultimately what it boils down, right? And it's like, no matter who's using Healy for what, but this is always what comes out. We're coming together, connecting, sharing the love, being coherent to each other. It's amazing. It's always the same. Beautiful.
And again, community is so important. And I love that we have someone like Brandon, and an incredible young leader that we have in Australia, building communities, but also everyone being embraced. Like, the fact that we have Doc Steve that is got 45 years of all this wisdom to be able to share. That is the ultimate biohack, that we are also building that community around.
Can close. Maybe now it's time for you to share. And maybe you can say, I have a word for you. I would like maybe to go into this word. What do you understand when you think about mastery? You're muted.
Yeah, I knew I was paused for the cause. You guys have all brought some very powerful things to the table. And the cool thing is this divine intelligence within the body that is always there. And I usually will ask the crowd to sit for a moment and just, if you would, just stop your body from digesting right now. Just see if you can do that. Just stop it from reproducing cells. Just go ahead and stop everything for just a moment. Can you do it? You can't, can you? There's an intelligence going on behind the scenes, no matter what, whether you're awake, asleep, whether you're having this conversation, whether you're in meditation or whatever, there's still an intelligence going on behind the scenes. And it is operating to the tune of 800,000 cells per second being reproduced under your current state of energy. So if our current state of energy is disorder, then there is a percentage of the genetic code that is simply reading the environment. And Michelle said it, the environment of the cell is inside us. And this environment is extremely influenced by our thoughts. So there is a tie-in, and Doc talked about every 7 years, you have a new body. Well, to the tune of 800,000 cells per second, that is absolutely true. The body is a protein producing machine. The muscle cells produce proteins called actin and myosin. The skin cells produce a protein called collagen and elastin, right? The stomach cells produce proteins that are called enzymes. But the whole point is the entire time the body's producing. It's a machine doing this intelligently behind the scenes. 400 billion bits of information going through the reticular activating system. You and I sitting here together, speaking in as wide of awareness as we can, we're still only aware of 2,000 of those bits. In our conscious self, we're aware of 2,000 out of 400 billion bits of information. So you think there's something going on behind the scenes? Absolutely. And that's the intelligence I'm talking about. And every time a cell reproduces, there's only about 3% or less of that actually code, that genetic code that says it's going to be a skin cell or a bone cell or a muscle cell. The rest is an antenna reading the environment, preparing the host, the body, for its operation within its world, right? So if our world is a chaos, disorder, harsh environment, then to the tune of 800,000 cells per second. The body's being prepared to survive in that environment. There's a biological imperative, and it says survival, period. If the body is in an environment of peace, harmony, the beach, tropics, kindness, love, then those 800,000 cells per second are being built for that environment, right? It's the adaptive gene. It's reading its environment all the time. And so this is the power that we have when we adjust our energy. And I don't care if you have every validation in the world to be angry, upset, vindictive, jealous, downright pissed off. It doesn't matter if you've got the right to be. I say, do you choose to be? Do you choose to take that moment in those 800,000 cells and produce them under a state using the adaptive gene of disorder? Or are you going to take that moment, take a breath, maybe a couple, close your eyes, find a space of peace, and let those cells reproduce under that energetic expression? Now, Healy, when it comes to the table, is an amazing energy tweak. All right. It's the hack that we can use. And we've got the intelligence within, but the problem is most of the time we get on board with environment. We get on board with somebody else's stress. We get on board with a right to be upset. All right. And that just doesn't serve the body well. Folks, we've got one vessel to operate in this life. And if you want it to be its optimal sense of itself, then pay attention. Pay attention to what's going on every moment and hack that moment, because you can. And that's simply with that adaptive gene. And so I'm an engineer, but I've evolved over time to be an epigeneer. In other words, every single one of you have the same ability. The moment you decide, you sit there in a moment and elongate that choice point between action and reaction. You elongate that moment. You've become an epigeneer. And when you choose to have a different outcome in energy, your body's going to follow suit. And that's the way that you perform in the gym. That's the way you anti-age. That's the way you elongate your life. That's the way you become successful. That's the way you become a Brandon, a Michelle, a Taryn, a Max, a Doc, whoever else is on here. That's the point. Biohacking is done from within. There's a lot of tools that we can bring to the table, but the internal power, the knowing, if you believe this, the knowing that you're connected to a divine intelligence that's building you second by second, there's your superpower, and you can become a superhero.
Amazing. And guys, if any of you ever get to meet Ken, you'll see such an incredible energy he has, such an incredible physical energy, but energy around him as well. From obviously the
first one in the morning in the gym, the last one leaving the bar in the night. I don't know how he does it, but he does it.
Max and I closed down some bars. I'm telling you, brother. Good job, man.
And
you know, there's another aspect I wanted to share that I really love about the Healy that I have not seen in any other frequency device out there, and I've seen pretty much everything that's come and gone, is the fact that the Healy really works on all levels. We work on the physical level when we're working in the microcurrent programs. We're working on the mental emotional levels when, for example, we're using the coil. And then when we're using the resonance programs to work directly in the informational field, we're working more on what's considered the spiritual levels. So we actually have one device that allows us to choose to work on any or all of those levels at any time. And I'll tell you, I haven't seen anything like it out there before.
Yeah, it's
so one of the things I want to say to piggyback on Doc is that because we're working with a device that works on the emotional side, right? So if we are hung up in a rehearsed condition, remember I'm going to ask you guys if you guys know what it feels like to feel love. How many? You guys know what it feels like? We were just talking about this, right? I'm sure you all do. Did you just make that up just now? I promise you didn't. There's a history within the body built cell by cell by cell over the amount of time you've lived, that now the body knows how to feel this emotion. It knows how to feel every emotion. Neuroscience says by about the time we're 35 years old, that every combination of emotional understanding has built into the biology of your body. And all it needs is an external trigger to feel the experience. And experience enriches life, just as if thought is to the brain, experience is to the body. It needs that to have that enrichment. And so that's how these emotions are, they're necessary in our life. But most of the time, most people rehearse an emotion that's below the belt. I guess I call it below the line of the lower vibrations. So Healy also has a component that works on the emotional body, and it helps to align those historical markers in a more energetic way. And the more we do it, 800,000 cells per second. Remember, there's going to be a quiz at the end of this call. 800,000 cells per second. That you are building a brand new body under this new understanding, this new knowledge. And I promise you that if we don't come to the table every day and create our day on purpose, with intention, with a target, right? Then what happens is the history of yesterday, all the feelings, all the understandings, all of the baggage winds up being put right on top of it today. And so we can comfortably predict tomorrow and nothing changes.
Ken, another question now. Since you're obviously being very aware and biohacking your physical vessel since a long time, how exactly are you using Healy? Like, what is Healy exactly doing to you? What kind of programs are you using? How do you support yourself? How do you prevent things from happening? How do you use Healy?
That's a great question. So I have 4 categories that I like to work in. One is the immune system. So the immune system is very, very important in terms of everything. When you work out, the immune system kicks in to help recover, right? When we're walking through our lives, we're taking on, the body's taking on bugs and viruses and germs and disorder and all kinds of stuff. The immune system is what is sitting there engaged to help you get through that. So something from the immune system. What do we have on the Healy? Well, we've got great right in the bioenergetic page 1, immune system, right? We've got it in the bioenergetic support, right? The bioenergetic boost program. Guess what? Healy made that for us when? Right at the beginning of what? Some pandemic thing that came around.
C word. We're not allowed to talk about the C word.
Right in the middle of some issue that we were going on, I think a year or so ago. Right. Anyway, so then there's some very distinct programs that came up that are in Healy. Look them up. We have a wonderful owner's manual. You can go in and read a whole couple paragraphs on every program, what they do. So number 1, I support the immune system. Number 2, something from the fitness page. Muscle. Guys, people, women, everybody. Your muscle is your friend. If we don't support our muscle, the body doesn't move. And if the body doesn't move, what happens? All things break down. So we got to be able to move and operate. So muscle's your friend. So something from the fitness page is my number 2 go-to. And then number 3, something for the brain. There's the learning page. We've got things for mental balance. We've got things that are for the chakra, for the 6th and 7th chakras, right? And then number 4, I usually leave something up to intuition, right? Like what am I intuitively in need of right now? And that may change, right? I mean, we make sure we look at our intuition and open that awareness. So that's my 4 ways, the categories I use Healy. Yeah. And so that's how I do it.
Thank you so much, Ken. Thanks for sharing. Michelle, wonderful Michelle. So I know you love the kidneys, but I know you also like, you do a lot of coachings. You basically on your, you're serving people all the time. Like, how do you use Healy besides the kidneys, how to support yourself? And what are actually the feelings, let's say, how did you feel before Healy and after using Healy? Just to get in a comparison.
Yeah, my Healy is a non-negotiable part of my life. It's totally non-negotiable. I use it to support, again, like I was saying prior, all things like inside of me on a foundational level. I do a lot of, I'm obsessed, anybody that knows me, with 5-element theory. I teach a lot of programs, I lecture on it, I use it in my clinical practice. So from that perspective, and that symbiosis and the consciousness that arrives from the matter of our internal environment, like our organs, because everything's vibrating, just speaking into what Ken was speaking into about the cell and, the expansion, and every cell is like its own individual universe. So our internal organs are vibrating. at their own consciousness as part of our whole consciousness. And through that kind of consciousness, depending on the vibration and frequency of the physical matter, you're going to have an emotional response to that particular organ. So I personally run a lot of the organ programs like the liver. The liver, you know, from a 5-element perspective, it's about vision, it's about actualization, it's about dreams. And it also has a lot to do with frustration and anger. So to not just for the physical health of the liver, but, you know, the symbiotic kind of coherence arising from it and all of those things, I will run that program for that. The lungs, you know, our ultimate connection to the divine. Also, a lot to do with letting go of things and grief. And, you know, letting go is such a vital part of just maintaining balance in our day and being present and submitting to the what is in a way of happiness and not stagnation. So I run the lung for that, the large intestine as well, along with that, for the letting go. Literally, we all know what the large intestine does biologically, but it also has that kind of conscious availability to bring those attributes into our lives, those physical into the metaphysical attributes. The heart, you know, all of the love. The heart is our very consciousness. It takes a beating every single day, from external environments to the environments that we allow in our lives. So the heart for that, and joy, it's related to joy. So just working through the organ systems, the kidneys, our return to origin, our Ming Men, fear, intuition. So working through the organ systems to bring this symbiosis into my life is really, really important in maintaining a capacity to be whole in the moment. And just speaking to Ken as well, and the immune system is vital for me. It's I just think it's amazing. You know, the human body is so magnificent. It's an amazing piece of engineering. It's mind-blowing, and the immune system is one of those mind-blowing attributes of ourselves. So as long as running the immune system program, I go back to all of the elements and the categories of the immune system. Circulation, you know, blood has a big part of that. That's in Bioenergetics 1, I believe. The lymphatic system has a lot to do with our immunity. Meridians 2, the spleen, the pancreas. Well, the spleen and the pancreas come together, I think, in Meridians 2. The kidneys, the thymus, you know, the hormonal programs, and really creating a foundational, amazing frequency for expansive immunity.
This is so good, Michelle. And I just want to put on 2 points, what you said and also what Ken said. And what you're saying now is amazing, because you're talking about all the organs and understanding that really everything is connected, especially in our body. Every single organ is connected and has an emotion to it. And now for everybody who start using Healy, right, when you do the scan and something comes up, for example, your kidney comes up, right, then that doesn't mean something is wrong with the organ. That means something completely different. There could be some emotional aspect to it, as you so beautifully described it about the liver. So what's kidney? Kidney is the center of fear and worry as well, but also for willpower, right? So if you get this program and you scan it and run kidney, your intention should be that you're increasing now your willpower. So no matter what organ comes up, that doesn't mean you have a problem. There's never anything negative with the Healy, right? And then there's so many questions about Ken. What was number 2? What was number 3? Guys, the next thing is really what Ken said as number 4. It's intuition. Sometimes intuitively tune into the program that you believe is right for you right now, because your intuition might tell you more answers than, you know, anybody here can tell you, because this is all personal experience. There is no protocol, use the Healy after breakfast, lunch, and dinner. In fact, it is something you intuitively decide for yourself, because it makes you feel good. And ultimately, when it boils down to connection to everything, you should become the master of your own senses, because nobody knows you better than you know yourself. And that's what it's ultimately about.
Yeah, I love this. Hey guys, just before we ask the next question, I'd love to know, are you guys really loving getting this information from these beautiful geniuses that we're able to collect here?
Yeah, we get so many beautiful comments here, guys.
I know, we do.
Almost exploding.
On the side there.
Really
I also want to ask you guys, you know, if there's any question you've got in there, because I know at the very end we'll ask 1 or 2 questions that you guys might have that you specifically want to ask these guys, then let us know as well. And my third request from you is that we will be doing these panels every week after Max and our opportunity meeting that we do always at 5 o'clock LA time, and then doing one after. So if there's anything else you would love for us to explore around Healy, let us know, and we will make that a panel. All right. Biohacking.
Let's go back to Brandon. Brandon, how do you see Healy has really, you know, influenced, let's say, your freedom as well? Like I know we see you, you know, you've been traveling around Australia, you're building massive teams of amazing people, everybody's high vibrational. So I know one of your highest values is kind of freedom, right? Which comes really much with your life. So how do you feel like Healy influenced you in that value of your life?
It is the highest value of mine, actually. So well observed, Max. Well observed. Wow. I mean, for starters, it definitely gave me a voice to speak to something that we've been cultivating for so long. Again, I mentioned the crazy ones. Ultimately, if you're on this call, you are a crazy one. And there's more people like us, just like you. So I really did feel like that to begin with. And it gave me, at the start of last year, I was really feeling that there was a lack of leadership in all forms, in government, especially here in Australia. Our Prime Minister was literally like, went on vacation while the whole country burned. And I remember feeling so helpless. And I felt like I couldn't do anything. And the resounding message that was coming through is like, you need to build leaders. You need to build leaders of the next generation. People who are going to hold the space. And so this was before even like this was fresh in my mind. This is when Healy just came into my life. And the amount of work I've had to do on myself to be even present to everything that's going on right now. Being present is it's one of the hardest things to do, because we're seeing life through the lens of our own preconceived notions and values, right? And for me personally, when I did my aura scan for the very first time, it highlighted to me, let me give you guys some perspective. I've invested like 150 grand into my own personal development, going to seminar after seminar after seminar. And every time I was able to go to these seminars, I would get insights. And these insights were showing me parts of my relationship, specifically with mother. That was the one that was very much activated. You know, I mentioned love, and our parents are our first loves. And we get our connection from these people. And depending on how that panned out will determine the patterns of programs, beliefs, values, and all the rest. And so for me, when I did my aura scan, it literally highlighted to me what was happening in my life. To give you some context, like I've fully healed my relationship now. But back then, I wasn't speaking to my mother for a year, because I felt I had so much resentment and anger towards how she showed up towards my partner at the time. And it's very emotional just even talking about it, but I felt so constricted. I felt so like I couldn't do anything. And when I did the Healy aura scan, it literally showed up. The person feels like his mother's love came at blackmail and control in the heart chakra. And I say this with so much love now, because I have the ultimate appreciation for my mother. She was the best coach my soul employed and hired coming into this experience. But at that time, for the first time, I saw my mother through the lens of compassion, because the story that I was telling myself internally, all of a sudden was projected onto this very thing that disconnects us. It projected onto this very thing that was connecting me to something that I already knew, but a device was highlighting to me in the 30-second aura scan what I've been trying to get to the bottom of for years. Like 7 years, which is a powerful life cycle number. So for me to see the story and disconnect from it, and then to enter a space of compassion, completely just what I was like, what? More people need this. I think we were talking about emotions. We're talking about how emotions are stored in the body. The amount of release I was able to give myself from that point, and gave myself permission. It was like I had a coach in my pocket telling me exactly what I needed to look at. The different decisions I started to make from that space I started to lead more with my heart when I was trying to withhold it because I was hurt. And that started to catapult me in so many different areas of my life that I started to show up differently. I started to show up through seeing this message that started to unfold through that lens of like, everybody needs one of these. Like, if you have a mobile phone, you definitely need one of these. And yeah, since then, this is when things were starting to come through. There's a war on humanity right now. It's a spiritual war. It's a war on our attention. And so for the first time, this gave me an insight, just as much as everybody else. Like, this very device that disconnects us, like I said, can actually be the device that can reconnect us and ultimately connect us to a higher power and keep us yes.
And I think when we think in terms of freedom, what I asked you before is like traveling, freedom of location and so forth. But what I actually did to you is freed yourself from emotional blockages, emotional blackmails, some things mentally, all the rubbish out of your energy.
Which is the real freedom, right?
Which is the real freedom. Because you can be free no matter where you are, right? It doesn't matter. And especially today, look at what happened to the world in the last year. You know, to feel free in a world where you're very contained right now is freedom, right? This is the freedom we get. And what you've done, and for people who don't really know enough about Healy yet, when he went into the aura scan, you have 50% of the healing is already done in taking the time, reflecting and reading what it says to you and being completely open to it and understand that you don't know everything, but being willing to accept this. And this is what he has done, right? And for you, I think it was the first aura scan ever. And the first thing that came up and pointed out the relationship with your mother. And it's absolutely amazing.
Ever. There's video footage of, like, if you don't believe me, there's video footage of me going, like, my mind literally was blown and it was never the same again. But like you said, as above, so below, as within, so without. To create freedom in your life out here, to be able to see that and embody that, you need to be in your body. You need to embody freedom first. And what I love, one of the most favorite quotes I love is, you know, when you handle and conquer the enemy within, the enemy outside can do you no harm. And so that is true freedom. That is liberation. Liberation is your first step to freedom, where I was kind of like in a psychological jail cell, so to speak, that became real in my own body. So yeah, that's what I experienced.
I mean, it's
Healy. I was going to say, and tagging on to what Brandon said about the aura scan, you know, Healy continues to give us these most amazing tools that just come to us on a regular basis. And one of the newest and most favorite programs that I am looking at and playing with right now, which has really blown my mind, which became available within this past month, is the Creative Homeopathic Psyche program, which is a brilliant program that was created that has about 350 sub-programs that allows you to see literally your shadow self to such a specific degree, and to be able to connect the dots to find out what the underlying issues that created that with our parents, with our grandparents, with our ancestors. And I'll tell you, the first time I saw that, I was stunned, because, you know, we all feel we have our own little secrets that we keep that nobody else in the world knows about us. And when I ran the scan and saw what it said, it was like, no way. I mean, nobody knows that about me but me. And yet the Healy was able to reveal to me on such a deeper level where that was coming from and what that was about, and then to be able to then clear that. So it's not just showing you, but it's allowing you to release the issue also, to me, is so brilliant. And, you know, the great thing about Healy is that it's a never-ending process, which means that when I first got involved 1.5 years ago and I started talking to the product development team, what they said to me is, you know, Steve, you're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. We have so many things that we're going to be bringing forward every month, every year. We have like a 10-year plan. And Taryn and I have been selected to be on the Healy product development, support team. And so we actually get a chance to look ahead and see some of the things that will be coming forward in the next, 6 months or a year. And all I could say to you is, man, there's no end to this. What's coming forward is amazing. And it's not just being able to deal with ourselves personally, but we're having new programs coming out very soon that will allow us to deal with and balance our environments that we live in. So it won't just be for ourselves, but our actual physical environments, to be able to clear those energies, to be able to deal with all of that stuff that comes in. And so again, it's, having been in the frequency space for over 25 years and seeing what was available at the time, this is really taking it to a whole other quantum level as far as I'm concerned.
And I think this is a beautiful way to finish this call, of making you guys on the call understand that what we have in the hand is, first of all, hearing all these stories and knowing about all these thousands and thousands of testimonies. This is version 1. This is number 1 of something we have no idea how big this actually can get. We have no idea. It's the first time we're looking into the quantum field with the technology. Right? It's the first time you take something in your hand and it makes you aware about your relationships, about your connections, about your deepest shadow sides. It's the first time ever, and this is version 1. Right now, next to me here, Taryn has an iPhone 12, right? Where do you believe this journey can go? And Doc Stephen Taryn apparently knows things I don't know. There's a lot of things in the basement and development. But guys, this is just the beginning of something tremendous, and we are all pioneering here something by using it. And I see some questions about like how exactly to use it, this and this. Guys, again, we're looking into the quantum field. There is no protocol to this one right now, right yet, but we have a lot of amazing experience. So be one of these people who share the experience, because sharing is caring, guys. And this is what it's all about. We have just 5, or with us 6 people here on the call sharing amazing life-changing testimonies with you guys, right? And I know here on the call, there are hundreds of you guys can share different stories, but amazingly impactful stories like we do. So just imagine where this journey is going. We're just getting started by something, and believe us, now we finally build the stability and the fundament that this company can really go to the next level.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. We're on here, we're on a biohacker panel, and what you really realize is everything's connected. Every organ, every emotion, all of us, we are all connected. The community, the device, everything. It's really the ultimate life hack, not just the ultimate biohack. It's the ultimate life hack that we have right here in our hands. As we wrap up, guys, I'm going to ask you, what's your absolute favorite program? If Healy said you can only have one, what's your absolute favorite program, starting with Michelle?
Oh, that's a very unfair. Very, very unfair. Damn you. I'm going to go with coherence, actually.
Brandon.
Ooh. Oh, damn it. Probably energy. Energy. Absolutely energy. Yeah.
Right.
Ken?
Yeah, I'm with you, Michelle, Brandon, both of you. Like, really, you got to ask me one, and I just believe that if I've got coherence, I probably have pretty much everything. But so I got to go with coherence as well.
Doc Steve.
Well, again, to just be able to pick one, it's really impossible, because they're used for so many different aspects, and I choose the one I need at that moment in time. But one that I come back to a lot myself personally is actually the release program. Many of you who know my testimonial know the fact that I had, was almost killed in a car accident, and many years ago that left me with some particular issues that I dealt with over the years. And of course, Healy came to the rescue and really made those changes I needed to really heal myself 100%. But the release program allows you to really, move beyond that. And if you do have any kind of hurts or pains or things that are not, perfectly right in your life, just running that program to me seems to allow me to let all that stuff go. So I have to say release is a favorite.
I'm going to pick.
No.
Yes. No. Yes.
Mine.
No.
Which?
No, I love positive thoughts, but I also love coherence as well. And he's going to be mad because I picked positive thoughts. But actually, his favorite program is hair.
But you know what I use? Mine too. My friend, I'm using the aura scan. because they have more than you guys. You know how it is. No, all right. Anyway,
Awesome,
hey guys, that was so cool with you guys. I really appreciate all of you guys for sharing all this amazing knowledge from everybody here. And we will have more of those panels coming soon, because this is really where the value is shared. And everybody of you guys listening, please drop some comments on the recording. We put it on the Evolve Facebook side. We put it on YouTube, and ask questions, you know, whatever panel you want. Recommend some people. Maybe you contact us and say, like, I want to be in the panel because this is my genius. Okay.
Yes, so we would love to hear from you. Every single week we'll be doing a panel that really highlights different areas. We said we were going to do that.
Okay.
We said we were going to do that. Okay, so this is what we're doing. You know what? Let's think of one that we could do next time. What's a really cool one?
Think later. It takes too long. It takes too long when you think. Okay. Guys, all right, we think about something, and you can put some comments up there, whatever you want to hear. If it's biohacking, if it's stem cell, more about stem cells.
Maybe it's detox and weight loss. Maybe you want to learn about weight loss. Yes, awesome. I want to know that after being on 7-week roadshow with him. Who loves cake. He's a feeder. He doesn't stop feeding you.
All right, good. Now it's time for everybody. Unmute yourself. Say goodbye to everybody. Show your appreciation.